There's no doubt that there's something weird happening in the old school RuneScape market this month. Before September, we had one item in the game that was worth over the maximum cash stack of 2.1 bill. 3 weeks later, and now we have 4 items over that amount, with a whole sector of the market exploding in value, kind of out of nowhere. So we have a lot to talk about. Now, just in the last couple of days, the third age market has been doing some really weird things. Pretty much every single piece of rare third age item has shot up tremendously just in a few days. Like, for example, here's the third age Druidic Top, which had been pretty steady at 1.6 bill, but all of a sudden it shoots up to above max cash in just a week, with it actually allegedly selling for 3 bill on RuneScape forums. So it shot up over double in a week, which is an unheard of increase when you think about it. 1.5 bill increase in a single week. What other item in the game can you say that has happened to? Well, this item, which not as drastically, but pretty much the exact same thing happened to the third age Druidic Bottom. Once again, it had remained pretty consistent at 1.6 bill for a few months, but out of nowhere it shot up from 1.6 bill to max cash on the GE tracker. Presumably would even sell for more than this. So we've had 2 items shoot past the max cash amount in under a week. We have the third age axe, which also hit the max cash amount in September, albeit a bit earlier. This item is rumored to be going above 3 bill as well. And of course we have the third age pickaxe, which has been there for a long time, going for 6 bill plus. Anyway, we covered that in my last video actually. But it's not just these items at the top here. Every other single piece of third age has shot up incredibly quickly. The third age Druidic Cloak, that's gone from 650 mil up to almost 2 bill for a couple of sales. Literally almost hit max cash on its own, albeit that's dropping a bit. The third age Bow went up from 800 mil to 1.34 bill, almost doubling in price. The third age Longsword's gone from 400 mil up to 1.1 bill at its peak. And we have the third age Wand, which is currently at 600 mil, but has shot up 5 times in value. Like, what the hell is going on? Now, I think there's a couple factors going on here, but I think it really stems from this item here, the third age pickaxe. With this item increasing so quickly and going to such unheard of price points of 6 to 8 billion gold, I think some of the wealthier players in old school have thought that maybe these hyper rare items could be somewhat similar to party hats in RuneScape, where they could be easily manipulated, or at the very least a good place to park your money long term, because you have to consider how wealthy some players really are. They have billions, tens of billions, some people have hundreds of billions of gold. What do you do with it? Well, you buy items because you don't want to just leave it as cash. Now, it's definitely true that the quantity of these items is incredibly low, which makes them very easy to manipulate. This is not the first time this has happened. This has happened before, even in old school, where third age items shot up really quickly, tripling in price. And once things start getting traded off the Grand Exchange, it's really easy to manipulate prices. You can astroturf the Reddits and forums with fake transactions, and it's really easy to pump up the price of these items. Do I think that's happening? Honestly, to a certain extent, yes. Now, I don't think that's happening to every single piece of third age. I think a lot of this is also hype of other players buying in and hoping that these items shoot up just as much, which so far they are. But I would just say if you are considering buying one of these items, I would be very, very careful, because if an item can go up 3 times in a month, then it can fall just as quickly. So I would definitely think twice about it. One of the reasons that I actually originally got into RuneScape merching is just kind of a general interest in personal finances, making money, tracking your bank value, making bad decisions. It just kind of all clicked. So I was really excited actually when Rocket Money wanted to work with me, as I find their app so useful. Today's video sponsor, Rocket Money, is an all-in-one platform that will completely simplify your finances. This app allows you to manage your subscriptions, lower bills, build custom budgets, and grow your savings all in one place. I have way too many monthly subscriptions, and yes, a lot of those are RuneScape memberships, but I can't believe honestly how many other subscriptions I had stacked up. Rocket Money makes it really easy to identify those unwanted subscriptions and cancel them with a single click of a button. You can even upload your bills to the app and they will attempt to negotiate a better deal for you. Like, they will literally do all the dirty work for you. Not only can Rocket Money save you money every month, but they offer an amazing suite of tools to help track your finances as well. You can set up monthly budgets that can be broken down even by category, which I find super helpful. You can track all of your cash, debts, or investments right in the app, which will allow you to track your net worth every month, so I can refresh this page constantly and hope it goes up. I've personally found Rocket Money incredibly useful, and I would highly recommend giving it a try. You can try it for free by going to rocketmoney.com/flipping, or simply click the link in my description, and you can lock even more features with Premium. And thank you so much to Rocket Money for sponsoring. Okay, now it's time to jump into some recent developments. This one as recent as 3 hours ago. Now the first thing I want to talk about is Forrester's Rations. This is a really unique item for a couple reasons. Firstly, it's one of the few items in Old School that doesn't have its main purpose added to the game yet. Because Forestry was split into 2 parts, for whatever reason they decided to put Forrester's Rations in part 1 even though they don't really have a use yet. Ever since June, they've just kind of been floating around 400 to 300 GP, waiting for part 2 to be added. Well, part 2 is coming soon, but today they've just notified us that rations are being changed in a way that you're able to make them now with any cooked fish or meat, and the better quality of item you use, the more rations you're going to get. So much so that from a single inventory of crafting the rations, you can get upwards of 1,000 almost in a single inventory. So they've kind of trivialized obtaining rations, and because of that they've tanked to only 50 gold pieces per ration. Once again, these items have pretty much no use, they're just in the game waiting for an update, but rumors and now news has ping-ponged the price around quite a lot. Now this month we did actually get one new item, the Warped Scepter. This item comes from the Warped Tortoises and the Warped Terrabirds. It's an item that's filling the gap between the Iban Staff and the Trident. It's from a Slayer monster though, so it dropped very quickly to being around only 200k each. Probably will fall down to alch value eventually, which, well, hopefully it's not 1. We'll see though, it might not be a very popular Slayer task, and maybe will retain some value. Another interesting item that we have to look at this month, Mole Slippers, currently worth 1.2 mil, making it by far now the most expensive item you can get from a beginner clue scroll. If you look over the last quarter, it's gone from 100k up to 1.1 bill, so gone up over 10 times in value. But why? Well, although people will tell you it's the best in slot slippers, it's really just a meme item that has been purchased via the community of a Australian content creator. We'll just let you guess which one. Either way, it's a nice little treat now when you do a beginner clue and actually get something valuable. Maybe this would actually help you afford a bond in free to play, except it won't because bonds are literally almost 10 mil. We are getting so close to a 10 mil bond, it's crazy. Earlier today, one sold for 9.8 mil, which means probably within a week, a month, we will have a 10 mil bond for the first time ever. So really, you'll have to get 9 mole slippers before you can afford a bond, which might take a while. Now, another interesting trend I've noticed for the last couple of months is the price of potions. They have gotten so expensive. Like the ranging potion, for example, is at 3k each, which is only really been hit before back in 2018. Stamina potions are ridiculously expensive right now. They're at an all-time high, well, they were a couple weeks ago anyway, of 13,000 each, which is way more expensive than any other time. Actually incredible how much they are. Super combat potions, 16,000 each for these bad boys, pretty much at an all-time high, barring like the Theater of Blood release back in 2018. Another really expensive potion now, the Bastion potion. This thing has gone up so much, especially this year. I mean, hey, back in 2020, these were 6,000 each. Now they're 35,000, upwards of 40,000 for a single Bastion potion. Supplies are expensive. Really, I think most of these potions have just shot up so much because of the large amount of combat updates we've had, like Tombs of Amaskid. Pretty stock standard answer, but if you look at when a lot of these items started to shoot up, it is around when Raids 3 came out, or other pretty major pieces of PVM content. Now, one of the most asked questions I've seen in the last month or two is really concerning the Twisted Bow and the Tunic and Shadow. These two items are almost the same price right now at nearly 1.5 bill, but why are they so expensive and why are they continuing to go up? The Twisted Bow in particular is quite interesting. If we look at the historical price of the Twisted Bow, it was at its all-time low around here, but ignore this isn't properly tracked data, but we can see when RuneLite started tracking Grand Exchange data, how many Twisted Bows were traded on the Grand Exchange, but then we got the Grand Exchange tax, which cut down the amount traded tremendously. So there's less going through the Grand Exchange, and overall I think less people are doing Chambers of Xeric as well, which means just the supply of Twisted Bows has gone down since 2021 when it was at an all-time low. Now on top of that we have the Grand Exchange item sync, which has been removing Twisted Bows slowly from the game. But a couple months ago, Modash actually revealed the Twisted Bow sync was turned off like months ago. So we're not even getting the Twisted Bow sunk from Grand Exchange tax. So it's really just all natural increases at this point. And I think in this case, it really just stems from how good the Twisted Bow is still, how rare it is, and just general inflation of the RuneScape gold piece. The Shadow is a bit different, and Shadow actually surprises me a little bit more. Compared to Chambers, there are way more Tombs of Amascut runs done per day. It's a much more popular raid. And in theory, the Shadow should be a lot more common. But interestingly, if we look at the amount traded per day, it's actually really similar. There's around 300 Shadows traded per day and around a similar amount of Twisted Bows traded per day. Now, I'm not sure if that's pointing at the amount of them in the game being similar, the rate that they're entering being similar, but the volume is very similar. The Shadow is once again an incredibly powerful weapon that is used at a ton of different content, similar to the Twisted Bow, and has a bit of a bias of more recent content requiring the Shadow, like the Whisperer and the Tombs of Amascut. Really, at this point, kind of take your bets on which one is going to be worth more in the future, but very interesting how their trend has remained pretty similar overall. Now, the final items I wanted to have a look at were actually the Desert Treasure 2 drops, specifically the ring drops, because they're actually using a very unique drop system that no other content has seen before. You have to roll the ring drop 3 times to actually receive the drop, which means the likelihood that you get the ring at a very low kill count, incredibly rare now, but also conversely, the chance that you'll go very dry to get the ring is also incredibly rare. So everything's been squeezed to be a lot more closer to the average. So what does that have to do with the prices? Well, let's just first have a look at them. The Magus ring is the cheapest right now, at around 70 mil, but has actually gone up over this month, and has remained incredibly consistent ever since the first couple of weeks. The Altar ring has actually gone up a fair bit this month, peaking at 210 mil, and it started at 160, again remaining very consistent and actually gaining value ever since August. Same thing with the Venator ring, it's up a fair bit this month as well, going from 90 mil to 130, just generally increasing over the last couple of months, and the Bellator ring also has gone up this month, and has remained very consistent. So why would these drop rate mechanics potentially stabilize the price of these items? Well, in a hypothetical scenario, let's say the Whisperer was killed 1,000,000 times. That kill count is spread out between tens of thousands of players. Most of them have not even gotten close to the drop rate. With the previous dropping system, a lot of players would have actually gotten extremely lucky, gotten the ring within the first couple hundred kills, but now that's not very common at all. Way less are coming into the game at an early kill count, which means you kind of have to stick around to the boss for a long time to actually get the drop, which means the actual quantity of these items coming into the game is much, much less. That, on top of just their general rarity, I think has kept their value pretty high, even though the boss was farmed a lot on release. These bosses are still some of the best money in the game right now, but their uniques have retained pretty good value in comparison to other newly released bosses. And the final factor is these bosses don't offer a lot in the way of consistent money, which means pretty much most of their value comes from these unique items, which is helping propping up the price. Anyway guys, that is it for today's market analysis. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next month. So there's so much to look forward to, but we're gonna have to leave that to the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you in the next episode. Now, before I go here, I want to give a giant thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to Aelandra, Mitch Reynders, The Hybrid, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed at the Dragon tier. You guys are awesome. I do really appreciate it. Also, thank you to Kapersky, YoYoSub89, and NDM0001 for being subscribed at the Runite tier. Thanks everyone again, and I'll see you next time.